John, the 4th chapter. And it's a familiar story about a troubled woman who meets Jesus at the well. So this morning we'll be going from John, the 4th chapter, and we're going to start at the 5th verse. John, the 4th chapter, we're going to start at the 5th verse. And I'm going to be reading out of the New International Version. I'm going to start at the 5th verse. So he came to a town in Samaria called Sarah, near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from his journey, sat down by the well. It was about 6 p.m. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" For Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is asking you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is very deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, and as did also his sons and his flocks and herds?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give him will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up in eternal life." May God add a blessing to his most holy word.
Amen. Amen.
This morning, if it's okay with you, I would like to lift up a topic of the key is the source and not the other stuff. The key is the source and not the other stuff. Sometimes when I look back at my life, I wonder, how did I get here? I really mean, I am blessed and highly favored. So at this time, if you can connect with somebody by grabbing their hands or touching them, but connect with somebody. And I would like you to look them dead in the eye, and say, "I am blessed, and highly favored. And the key is the source, and not the other stuff." Amen. Amen. You know, I'm so blessed. Hey, some people in this church even like me, even though I can't sing. I have a job when others are unemployed.
That's right.
I have a nice home when others are homeless. I can freely come and worship anywhere I want when other brothers and sisters in Egypt are being killed.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I can remember as a little child when my mom went to take me to the store to buy some shoes for me. And I can remember walking in the store, and the goal was we would buy anything that fit. We didn't care what it looked like, as long as it fit. But glory be to God. Today I can go on the internet, and I got choices. That got size 15 to 16, and I got choices. Because God is good. I can remember growing up in my neighborhood in North Philadelphia where there was violence every day. I can remember fighting every day of my life from the first to the third grade. I can remember when I was stabbed in the third grade. I can remember all the different challenges. But I would never thought that I would have the honor to serve my country for 22 years and go all over the world and fight for this country. God has a way of turning things around. God has even blessed me with children that respect me. In a world where many children not only don't respect their parents, they respect no authority to include God. Can I show you something for a moment? Compared to many people, I am very, very blessed. I have been with my wife for 27 years of marriage. And the key is, don't miss this, that I know that she loves me because of her actions. But unfortunately, we live in a world today where the devil is attacking relationships. We live in a world today where it's difficult to stay married. But let's not start at marriage. Let's go back and recognize where the problem really is. The problem takes us back to our young people again. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to upset some folks right now.
That's all right. That's all right, brother.
But like I told you, I got size 15 to 16, so I can afford to lose an inch or two. But young people, don't miss this. There's nothing wrong with dating. There's nothing wrong with dating. As long as you understand the purpose and follow the instructions. And understand the purpose of dating is marriage. The purpose of dating is marriage. I was doing some research for a paper I had to write in my old church. And that particular church is about 147 years old, I think. And when I was doing the research, in the 1800s, I found this one written report, and it was talking about things that happened in that year. And one of the things they brought out was the church is where everybody met for everything. If you had a problem between two neighbors, they came to the church. Okay. If somebody was in trouble, they came to the church. But what fascinated me was the fact that the church was the place where people met, dated, and courted.
Amen.
What fascinated me was every Sunday, this report said, that the young people would meet at the church and they would have dances that was closely chaperoned. But they would get to know each other. Now, understanding I said that dating has a purpose, which is marriage. But you must follow the directions. Now, let me show you something. Many, many times, we forget the source and we focus on the stuff. And so when you look at a book, and when you go down to a bookstore, they have the fanciest cover on it. And a lot of times, people just buy the book for the cover. And they didn't take the time to do any research on the book. Even flip the book over and read what it's about.
That's right.
Or read that knowledge, read something. But they buy the book. And they get sold on the book, and they get bought on the book, because they read it, and they open it up and read the first couple lines of the first chapter. Okay, I want to read this book. I want this book. And now they bought the book. And see, in the dating scene, You can't get fooled by the stuff. You can't get fooled about how good they look. You can't get fooled by what they're saying to you right up front. Okay? You're not going to get the true story until you read the book. In order to read the book, that's going to take some time. What I'm trying to say is, you just can't jump into things. Because just because in chapter 1 it said one thing, you didn't see that they were setting you up for something else in chapter 10. So now you get stuck with something and you don't know how you got there. It's because you got to read the book. You got to make sure that they are following the same path that you're following. You got to make sure that you don't get sidetracked of what they say they can offer you. You got to make sure that you don't get confused when the hormones get involved. Let me tell you about those hormones. Those hormones can blind you. Those hormones can make you deaf. Those hormones can make you insane. You think I'm lying to you? Let me show you something. Okay? You can come up to somebody and they look so good to you and they're driving this fancy car and you're like, wow, that person got it going on. And then the next time you see them after you and dated them a couple times, they come to your house looking like any old thing. But let me tell you about those hormones. Those hormones can make you deaf. Because the people who love you and saw it from the beginning and said, you know what? They ain't no good. They ain't no good for you. You know, so y'all don't realize in the olden days, and some of the church senior ladies might get upset with me, but the senior ladies of the church, they did all their arranging. They kind of looked at who was good for who, and they started setting things up. They started putting things in place. You didn't know it, but when guys came to the house, they thought they were. They didn't know they was being sized up. They sized them up and go back to the husband. I think he got potential. Then the husband go out and verify that he has potential. That's how they used to do it. But hormones make you deaf. And so when your parents and some of these senior people get to talking to you, you can't hear. No matter what they say, you can't hear. Because those hormones saying, they can't be talking to me. I don't know what they looking at. I don't know what they listening to. But they got it going on. Okay? But not only can the hormones make you blind, and the hormones can make you deaf, the hormones can make you insane. What I mean by that? Okay. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. A person will mess up the first time, and we take them back. The person will mess up the second time, and we take them back. And they will mess up the third time, and we take them back. But those hormones will make you think that something's going to change. Those hormones will tell you that I can change them. I can get them right. Make you listen to stuff that just don't make no sense at all. Boy, I tell you, those hormones, they're something else. But I'm here to tell you today, when you really stop and look at it, you will figure out that the answer is in the Kool-Aid.
Let's see.
The answer is in the Kool-Aid.
Let's see.
Now you notice I said the answer is in the Kool-Aid, not the Kool-Aid. Okay, so stay with me now. But before I tell you about the Kool-Aid, let me set up the text a little bit for you. Let me just make sure we understand where we are. Okay, Jesus is tired. Jesus did not have a Mercedes. Jesus is not like the Pope that had this Pope-mobile ticket. Jesus has been walking. He had been walking and he'd been walking. Okay? He just got finished talking to Nicodemus, and now he had to walk on. In order to get where he had to get, most people, in order to get to their destination, would go way around the way to make sure that they didn't walk through Samaria. Because they didn't want to walk through Samaria because they looked down on the Samaritans. And they didn't get caught in the Samaritan neighborhood. So, but Jesus, I'm walking through Samaria.
That's right.
Okay, so Jesus was walking through Samaria, and he got to this well. And Jesus was thirsty. Now the disciples went into town to get some food. And this woman comes up to Jesus. And she's like, looking at this man. You know how you see a stranger and they don't look like they belong there? But she's just looking at him. And this woman's by herself. Now it's important to recognize and understand that in that culture, in that society, women did not go places by themselves. But yet this woman is by herself.
Amen. Amen.
And she's going in the hottest part of the day by herself. So that tells you something that's going on with this woman. And so this woman comes by herself, and Jesus asks her, "Can I get a drink?" And this woman is totally confused, recognizing that he's a Jew. Why is he asking me for a drink?
Right. That's right.
And Jesus goes on to explain to her that he has something greater than that physical water that's in that well. And the woman is totally confused now. Because she's like, well, you have nothing to even get the water out of it.
Right. That's what she said.
And so Jesus begins to explain to her about this water. And she starts to say, oh, hold on. How can you, don't you, this is my great-great-great-grandfather's well. This well, my ancestors drank out of. Are you greater than them? So this woman is in a state of total confusion. She doesn't really understand who she's talking to and what is going on.
Yes.
And the problem is, the key is the source and not the stuff. How do I know the key is the source and not the stuff? Well, I'm glad you asked me. First thing I gotta look at her status. This woman apparently was an outcast in her own community. She came to draw water by herself because she was looked down upon, and anyone who associated with her would also be looked down upon. The scripture says that the Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" For Jews do not associate with a Samaritan. You know, sometime in our life, there are people who are going through something, and you heard something about that person, and you assumed it was true, and you act like you can't be a part of that person because I don't want nothing to do with her. Now, that may have been the same person you grew up with all your life. But now, because you heard something, you don't want to have nothing to do with it. And so, people start to look down on a person. And you have to do things on your own. You have to push yourself. Okay? So no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, you got to recognize the source of your strength. And this woman, she had to recognize the source of her strength. She didn't know what had brought her to that well. She didn't know what had took her through her circumstances. She was focusing on all the stuff. But she didn't recognize that she was with the source. And in our lives, we must recognize that there's something greater than us that can push us through anything. It doesn't matter if you have no money in your pocket. It doesn't matter of your circumstance and your situation. There's something that can push you when nothing else will. And it's the source. How do I know it's the source and not the other stuff? Because I need to look at her family history. And when I look at her family history, I find that she had came from a line that was highly recognized in Jewish lineage. She came from the line of Jacob. But something happened before that kind of messed some things up as that line went down. And it was this man who was supposed to be the wisest man in the world at that time, named Solomon. Now Solomon was granted by God all this wisdom, but he didn't use it. I don't care how smart you are, if you act dumb and do dumb things, it don't matter. You can be a police officer and score the perfect score on your exam, and go out and arrest the wrong person. Don't even come close to arresting the right person. So it's not always about the intellect. You got to be able to apply it. And so Solomon messed up to the point where God punished him. And he said, I'm not going to punish you right now. But down the road, I'm going to break your family up. I'm going to break some things up. And so sometimes things that happen in your lives, and your ancestors' lives, affect you.
That's right. Amen.
There's some things that happen that you had nothing to do with that came down. Some of us may be living in circumstances that they had nothing to do with, and it's something that their ancestors didn't do or something that they did do that caused their current situation. And it's not your fault. But even though you may be in that situation, you don't have to pay attention to all that stuff because you still got the source. And the source can bring you through that situation. But some of you still may be asking, how do I know the source is the key and not the stuff? Well, I look at her history. Now, when she sat down with Jesus, she got to talking to Jesus, Jesus asked her about her husband. Y'all might not believe this, but verse 16, he told her, go, call your husband. Have him come back. I have no husband, she replied. Jesus said to her, you are right when you say that you have no husband. In fact is, you have 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband.
That's what he said.
Not your husband. So the woman had some issues. The woman in her own situation, she was still doing something. It's one thing what her family did. It's one thing what she had did in the past. But in her current situation, she was still messing up. In her current situation. Okay? But she was honest with Jesus. And she told Jesus about her sins and what she had done, and what she had been doing. And Jesus was able to offer her that living water. Okay, so what I need y'all to understand right now is this is one of the first times that Jesus reveals himself outside of his disciples. Now look what Jesus did. He just got finished talking to Nicodemus, this high Pharisee. Didn't tell Nicodemus. He told Nicodemus how to get saved, get born again, but didn't tell him who he was. But yet, this outcast, this woman that had everything not going for her,
That's right.
walking by herself in the hot heat, going to get some water. And guess what? She probably was getting the water for somebody else, not even for her. And Jesus takes the time out of his busy schedule to stop what he's doing, to stop by that well and that time to speak to that woman. And speaking to that woman, he told her everything she ever knew about herself. And if we were to read farther in the text, we would find out what the woman did. We would find out the woman didn't just stop. We would recognize the woman wasn't deaf. We would recognize the woman wasn't blind. And said, darn, she wasn't insane. Because she said, oh, I got to go. And I got to go tell somebody that I saw a man that told me all about myself.
That's what you said.
And then what happened was, remember, this woman had no credibility. You remember what I said? She was an outcast. But she was so passionate that she went and said, I saw a man that you have to see. You ain't got to believe me. You come see it for yourself. But I saw a man. That was the one that was in the scriptures. There was the called one. Was the Messiah, the one we've been waiting for. I saw a man. That's what he said. And everybody came. And they heard for themselves. And they asked Jesus to stay a couple of days. But I got to go back to the original point. Y'all still probably wondering about that Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Y'all thought I forgot about you. But when you think about it for a moment, before I get to the Kool-Aid, I want you to hold on for just a moment. Before I get to the Kool-Aid, if any of you have ever used a copying machine, you will recognize that it's not the copy that comes out that's important. It's not even the copier that's important. Because you can go somewhere else to find another copier. It's not even the paper that went in that's important. Because you can go somewhere else and get some more paper. But what you can't go and get is the original, the source. Stay with me for a minute. When I was little, and somebody threw a penny down, or it was just laying there, and I saw it.
Oh yeah.
Didn't think twice about it. Now I must admit, when I got older, I walked by a couple pennies. I did. I was looking for nickels. I was looking for some quarters. And I gave my penny to my little brother. Man, hold on to that, man. Okay. But as I got older and older, okay, I found a wallet. It had no identification in it, because I give it back, I had identification. But it had no identification, it had a couple dollars. Woo! I put that money in my pocket.
God bless you.
Thank the God that provides. But today, somebody drop $1. Some people might, grab it, whatever, think something about it. Think something happened to them. But most people are like, okay, I found $1. I found $1. But let me show you something real quick. I need some help right now. I need somebody to tell me what this is right here. Tell me what that is. Say it $100 bill. Let me show you something. Y'all stand with me now? Okay, y'all stand with me? I can take this $100 bill. I can ball it up. I can drop it. I can step on it. I can kick it. You know, it's not kicking too far. I can kick it. And no matter what, if I move out the way, there's going to be a race for that bill. So no matter what I did to it, it didn't lose its value. So no matter what anybody does to you in life, no matter where they kick you, no matter where they spit on you, no matter where they throw you away, you don't lose your value. Because of the source, it's not the stuff. It's the God that you are made from that gives you your value. Stay with me for a minute. Stay with me for a minute. Okay. I had a dream. In this dream, there was a house. Woke up in the house, and there were no lights on. Woke up in the house, and the water wasn't running. And it was dark. And I went downstairs and I grabbed my glass because I wanted something to drink. So I opened up the cabinet and I saw some Kool-Aid. And I poured the Kool-Aid in. And then I went and I got some sugar. And I poured the sugar in. And so I was going to make me some Kool-Aid because I was thirsty. But then I went to cut the water on. And it was no water.
That's right.
So I got up and I was walking through the woods and I was a little lost. I couldn't find my way and I was getting thirsty and I was getting thirsty and I was getting thirsty. And I mean, I was thirsty and I couldn't find my way. I was lost in the woods. And then I came upon this house and there was a light on in the house. And I seen all this light. And I walked up to this house. And I went in the house. And I went in. And I went to the faucet. And I cut on the water. And guess what happened? Water came down. And I was able to make me some Kool-Aid to quench my thirst. And see, what I'm trying to tell you is, if the Kool-Aid is your daddy, if the sugar is your mama, no matter what they bring, what flavor they bring, no matter whether it's bitter or sweet, no matter whether it's dark or light, they're just the stuff. But it's the water. It's the living water that your body needs to survive. It's the living water that Christ is trying to give you. Because I can remove the Kool-Aid and I can remove the sugar. But with the water, I'm still going to live. And what Christ is trying to tell you in the scripture, that he's offering eternal life. And so long as you pour into the water, you are good to go. So no matter what your mama did, no matter what your daddy did, your grandmother, it don't matter. No matter whether you're poor, no matter whether you're rich. Your mama can have some money, your daddy get it, but it's not your money. You got to get your own money. What I'm trying to tell you is, God has your back because he is the source. And all the other stuff don't matter. God bless you.